friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Bright Side of Beauty podcast. Before we jump into today's episode, if you have not subscribed on YouTube yet, please stop what you are doing. Go subscribe over there. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, you probably notice on Spotify that we have video, but on Apple Podcast, hey, there's an option. You can actually watch as well. So definitely go subscribe over on YouTube. Even if you always listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, it helps out so much if you do subscribe. It helps us get the word out that, hey, we exist, the Bright Side's out there, and share with a friend if you don't mind. Also, if you did not know, we are now on Patreon. So if you are a skincare enthusiast that wants to know more about ingredients, how to incorporate different things into your regimen at home, what is going on in the aesthetics industry, we have an option for you. There's a membership. If you are a member of the aesthetics community, you are another provider out there and you want more resources on how to further your education, direct links, all of the things, we also have a membership for you. So go search Delaney Danielle, The Bright Side of Beauty on Patreon, and we've got an option. Okay, without further ado, let's head into this week's episode.
We're back.
Did you miss us?
Because we missed you.
The girls are in town. We have LT, Lauren Taylor, Dijon, and Isabella here in the studio from the Limited Agency.
For round two.
Welcome back, girls.
Thank you. We're so excited to be here again. Straight from the airport.
Straight from the airport in our cozies. We had to do a cozy vibe because that just, it matches us much more than, I mean, we can polish ourselves, but I feel like this is our natural
our true form.
Yes, this is it. I'm really excited for this week's episode because we are actually going to be like digging deep into here's how you apply things. This is what we're doing. And then we can even take that even further over on Patreon. But let's talk platforms. So if you missed last week's episode, head on over to one episode back. We kind of tiptoe into marketing, who the Limited Agency is, who these wonderful girls are, why I love them so much. But we kind of stopped at the place of what platforms should you be using and how to actually plan out your content. So that's what we're going to dig into today. Starting off with platforms. What platforms do we all need to be on? What are your favorites? How do you utilize all of them? I mean, just take it and run.
Okay, well, I guess starting off, number one should be Instagram, Facebook, like those two things. I think that's the basis. If you're going to participate in any form of a social media at all, I think that's where you should start, for sure.
I love TikTok. I love it so much. I do tell people I agree Instagram and Facebook is baseline. It's like the equivalent of having a website, just a modern day version. So mandatory. And then if you want to branch out after that, TikTok is the next step.
I have a hot take about TikTok, honestly. I love it.
Give it to us.
I agree with you. My hot take.
I'm scared.
I don't know if you know this about me, actually. I don't think that every business needs a TikTok because...
No, I agree. I agree with that, I think.
I think TikTok is one of those platforms where you really have to be hands-on. And if you are not willing to put in the time and the effort to show up on TikTok in a very specific way, then you will not be successful. So it's not a box that you check. It is a pool that you have to dive into. So that's why I don't suggest it unless you are willing to put in the work.
It definitely only works with our clients that are super hands-on because it just requires so much attention. Like we talked last week about adaptability. This is even worse. You have to be even more adaptable. It changes every single day. So for people that are like to be really hands-on with their social media and like to still have a hand in it, TikTok, absolutely yes. We'll hold your hand and work with you through it. But if you just want, someone else to post for you and don't want to ever think about it nor touch it, probably not your place. I think you're right.
Do you feel like it's more like the raw content, lack of better phrase, raw content that does better on TikTok? Or do you think like polished still will work on TikTok? It just, as long as you have enough of it?
It could go either way. I honestly think that raw content can perform well on both platforms because it's all about this authenticity thing that everybody preaches. I think that TikTok works really well with personal brands. And even if you are a business page, something that I think of is Set Active, is like obviously the activewear company. They post about their business, but the reason that company does so well on TikTok is because they have their TikTok manager who was like the face of the brand on TikTok, and people follow the account because they want to see what that person will post about Set Active, not necessarily the clothes itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's really good to let people behind the curtain. So like showing all of the raw stuff, if you want to call it that, like day in the lives or behind the scenes or funny stuff or the stuff that can come off as a little unhinged or unprofessional. If you're willing to kind of let people into that part of your business, like the fun side and the raw side, showing the bloopers, that's really what it's good for.
I love that. We kind of threw around, and I mean, this was like 3 or 4 years ago. We threw around the idea of having like a BSA Insider Instagram page. This was before TikTok became TikTok for sure. But I like that idea of like maybe your TikTok is that insider. Like that's this is what we're doing in the break room versus it being like, this is what we're doing at our front desk.
100%. Or like the place where you're even putting some of your hot takes that you're like, I don't know if I want to make this a whole thing and put this on. It just kind of is a place for conversations to open, you know?
Yeah. Do you think people are tired of seeing the super polished, put together, very manufactured posts on both platforms, like especially Instagram? I feel like we traditionally saw very editorial type stuff on Instagram. Do you think people are tired of that? Do you think that that's like we're moving away from that towards raw content?
I think there's a time and a place for both. Because I also think whenever you see something extremely editorial or cinematic, it's almost like there's a shock factor in the effort and the style that was put into it, but also the algorithms are completely different on each app, and it also varies per account. And I know that's like such a broad range of things to say, but like a cinematic video on my page might not perform well, but a cinematic video on your page might perform incredible just based on like what your audience is like catered towards.
Right. Like it kind of depends on the brand.
That is such a good point, because I definitely think that there are brands out there where if they have very polished things, they built their brand on luxury and having that polished. It's the people that want that polished look. And then if they start posting reels from their bathroom that is just like a normal bathroom, not like marble walls,
Right.
it's not going to land the same way. They're going to lose their follower base. So it probably goes back to what we talked about last week of knowing your base and then feeding into them. And it's a very selfless thing.
Yeah.
I guess in that case, with it being so manufactured, it really does take some intention.
Yeah. And I think you just have to choose. It's kind of just like picking a lane and staying in it, which is what we were saying last week. Also, it's like it's kind of challenging to do that because sometimes you want to show the fun stuff. Maybe you do have a really luxurious, polished brand, but you can't. Like you chose your lane, stay in it. Otherwise, we're going to have to do a rebrand, or we're just going to do random stuff and we're going to stray from our marketing strategy and we're going to lose followers in the process.
Let's talk strategy. So with the different platforms, there's obviously a completely different strategy for each of them. We talked a little bit about like what strategy should look like on TikTok versus, I guess we didn't even mention YouTube Shorts. Where does YouTube Shorts fit in there? I feel like it leans more towards like Instagram Reels. Would you say that? Or would you say it goes more towards like the TikTok side? Because I know format wise, they're all the same size format, but they perform completely different. Like,
I feel like it's honestly something that we've kind of tested out in the past for brands like Bright Side of Beauty. Like that was one that we did it for. Things where you're speaking, like podcast clips, stuff like that, I think does really well. But you use it for some of your influencer content. So what is your opinion about that?
With YouTube, I think YouTube Shorts specifically, I think it's more closely related to Instagram Reels in the sense that it is very short form, very quickly digestible content, not necessarily like a long form vlog on TikTok that you might post, because the whole point of your YouTube Shorts is to direct people to your YouTube channel, which in turn you're hopefully posting long form content, and then ultimately also directing people to your Instagram or your TikTok. So I think those like quick, fast-paced videos that like get people's attention and then go from there.
So more of like your YouTube channel would have long form content, and then your YouTube Shorts would have shorter versions of that long form to direct you towards that long form. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Kind of. Not even a shorter form of that video, but like hypothetically, like I'll use my personal brand as an example. Like I don't really do it much anymore, but I used to vlog on YouTube. So like my vlogs would be 10, 15 minutes long, but then my shorts would be like little snippets of my life, not necessarily of my vlogs, but it's like of my outfit or an event that I went to, or just like a little 5 to second video of something that is a reflection of what the rest of my channel is about.
Okay, that makes total sense. So then thinking about how you can now use Instagram as a search engine in itself, I think we've all used TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, for example, as separate search engines. But now when you type into Google for something, an Instagram post may pull up. What's the strategy behind that to make sure that as a business, you're showing up on that Google search?
It's just SEO, just like you probably have with your website. You are paying for monthly SEO and you don't even really know what it means, but you know that it gets you to the very top of the Google search, or that's the goal, right? Instagram, I think, and TikTok, more so Instagram though, has always kind of operated the same way in recent years. Like that's why we always suggest long form captions sometimes are a great idea. And we've kind of seen the shift from using a lot of hashtags and doing keyword search that way into just in-platform SEO, so that the searchability in the app, just like you would do a Google search, is kind of similar. Like whatever you search for is going to kind of come up based on the words that are in your captions, or you can tag like keywords or categories on your posts, things like that. Now I think they've recently partnered with Google, so now it can actually pull up in Google as well. So the SEOs are kind of meshing together. It's just one giant digital footprint.
SEO is definitely my baby inside of our office. So we have brought marketing. I know I've told you guys, but for everybody else out there, we have brought our marketing in-house, and that is really my baby in itself. But focusing in on SEO is really like, I am focusing so much on that. I'm working with our friend, Jared Rohr from Aesthetic Conversion. He handles our SEO and his team, but I'm working very close hand in hand with him on that, as well as blending it over onto our socials because it is so blended. They can make sure that our website is working really, really well and our Google ads are working really, really well. But how do I make sure that our social media is helping with that? Like I want them to hold hands and fight a good fight together in a way. Oh, did you have something you
No, go ahead. Continue, sorry.
So with SEO, I love that you said doing longer captions. Mm-hmm. I have heard people say that they love short captions from an industry side. Like they don't like to spend time on captions because who's going to read the captions anyways? I have a very strong opinion, and I would love if you guys have like a hot take or you have a different opinion, please tell me after this. Okay. I'm just going to go off for a second. You need to be writing in the caption. And I am so passionate about that because people, if they really like your content or your, whether it's a picture or it's a video, they're going to go to your caption to read more. Mm-hmm. Like that's like the next click in, which then your caption can lead you other places, right. But that should be starting the conversation so that they're in the comments or they're in your DMs. That should be giving them more information to where maybe you have a before and after of lip filler, but you want to go through like, okay, this is what the process is like, or this is what this person's journey has been like over time, or whatever it may be, or like, this is the promotion or the package that we have going on this month. That's where you should be putting all that information so that it's leading into a person that's actually walking through your door or clicking on your website, which is then leading to the next step. But like your caption is a integral part of the pipeline. It's not a standalone or like something to just like not worry about.
It's a piece of the funnel. Absolutely.
Okay. So you agree with me on that?
Yes.
I think it depends on the piece of content, and specifically if we're talking about sales. And I always say sell without being salesy. Obviously you're going to have some things that are blatant like promotions because you are running a business. But whenever you do things like say you want to participate in a trending audio, I feel like if the piece of content is like really funny, but maybe related to something that you're trying to sell, that's a good time to like really dive in the caption. Like I feel like we do that all the time with Limited. Like she'll message me and be like, can we just make the caption this? And then I'll just write this on the video. And like, it's kind of interchangeable. Like you can do one or the other, but I do think it is a good place to lead them further into your booking portal.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I have another hot take.
Let's hear it.
And people probably are not going to agree with me on this. I am so freaking annoyed with people that will put something that's like, you think that if you keep watching the video, it's going to pop up in the video, and then it just keeps on going. And you realize that everything's in the caption, or it like points down at the caption.
Read the caption below.
And I get
jail
that like it helps with the spread, because like the longer somebody's watching your video, it's going to push further. But now at this point, I feel like it is like, that is so 2 years ago.
It's an old tactic, I think.
It's an old tactic. And I feel like, truthfully, I feel like it's almost rude at this point because my time is valuable. And if you're going to make me sit here and waste 10 seconds instead of 3 seconds, I would have given you the full 10 seconds if you would have respected my time. But now I'm not going to give you 2 minutes on your page because you wasted 10 seconds of my time with this dumb tactic from 2 years ago. And I feel so like, it gets me heated. If you can't tell. I get so mad. Okay, what's a good tactic though to get people to hang on in a way that is respecting their time? Like, what are those hooks? Those
the
good
hook.
hooks.
I was about to say it's all in the first 1 to 3 seconds of the video. That's how you get people's attention.
What are some hooks that you really like right now?
I feel like if you could answer that question and we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, use this, like that's how you know we're not doing a good job. I think they need to be custom and they need to be creative and specifically tailored to the particular account or person that you're posting for. Otherwise, it kind of ruins the point. Like the second that things become cookie cutter, they get boring. And that's I think what we mean when we say like you need to be selfless in the content that you're posting, because people do get annoyed. Like you were saying, like they get annoyed that you wasted their time. They're not going to read your post. They don't care about your 10% off sale graphic. They don't. So it's like using hooks and finding ways to grab attention and then editing in a way that's going to like retain that attention throughout the course of the video, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does.
Okay.
And I love that.
I also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I also think that hooks can be seasonal, and then you start general. When you're creating a hook for one video, you start general, and then you can make it a little seasonal, and then you can also make it topical, like based on like a certain topic. Like an example off the top of my head is like, so winter is approaching. We're basically end of October, November. Winter arcs. It's all the girlies. All the girlies are talking about a winter arc right now. So some of our like more wellness style accounts, or even like my personal brand, like this is exactly what we're doing to start our winter arc today, kind of thing. So it's just using those seasonal pop culture things that like things that people are talking about, using that as a way to like get their attention.
And custom tailoring it. Like she's not saying everyone needs to post about a winter arc, but if the winter arc topic aligns with your brand, like using like don't copy that same hook word for word, like make your own and customize it, make it sound like you or make it sound like your brand and reference the trend, but in your own way. Like take it and make it about you, if that makes sense.
Oh, I've got a good one for you guys. So speaking of trends, trending audio, great thing to be able to use to help with reach. What are some good ways for practices or even like solo injectors, solo estheticians? What are some good ways for them to use trending audio in a relevant way to their content? I feel like I said that very weird.
No, I know what you mean though. So we always say that trends are a tool, they're not a pillar. You should not be relying on trends as a part of your marketing strategy, but they are so fun to sprinkle in every now and then for reach and also just for like entertainment. You know, like at the end of the day, yes, this is a business. Yes, you should be making sales. It's also entertainment.
The thing with trends is they're tricky because they change so quickly and they become old so quickly. So just because you look on Instagram and it says this particular song is like #1 trending right now, well, that trend has been happening for an entire month. And now every time I hear it, I just immediately swipe past it because I'm over it. You know, like we have the attention spans of squirrels. I do at least. But so I think if you are going to participate in those things, like jumping on them so quickly, I tell people that, I mean, I'm diehard for TikTok. We know this, but I find that trends from TikTok move into Instagram later and then maybe Facebook even after that. And it kind of funnels down in that way. And I think that's just maybe like a generational thing. Like Gen Z comes up with it and then it funnels down and it keeps funneling down. So it's like if something starts trending on TikTok, the second that it is like new on TikTok, then start posting about it on Instagram. Then it'll start to like go there. But if you're going to follow trends on TikTok, then it's like you better do it that week or everyone's doing it and then you're no different.
That's so good. So get your inspiration for what's trending on TikTok, carry it over onto Instagram.
I think so.
Yeah.
Be the trendsetter on Instagram.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we want to do. We don't want to
We're
completely
making
copy.
moves.
Yes.
Yes. And I guess what I was thinking with the trending audio thing is like there are trending reels, but sometimes it's more of like this song is trending, but you can put it with a before and after transition of lip filler or, you know, facial balancing or something like that. So using that audio, as long as it still matches your page, you know, you don't want to have like a very like jazz centric page and then all of a sudden you're picking like a rap song just
Cardi
because
B.
it's, yes, just because it's a trending audio, but you can kind of use those trending audios to help boost your content because it is a sound, as long as it's like happening in that moment. Would you agree with that on the audios, or you feel like completely ignore the audios, just make sure that it matches your page more of, you want to match the vibe?
No, I think you should definitely use trending audios. I think that's a great way to expand your reach. I will absolutely agree with you. Only hop on trends and audios that align with your brand. And that honestly takes some internal reflection, because you might want to pick an audio that like you love so much and like it's so fun and so blah 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 and everything. But if it doesn't align with your brand, then you have to really sit down and think, like, you can't confuse your audience if you like
Yeah.
just throw something and hope that it sticks, you know?
Oh, I feel like that's a really good point. When you're thinking about your brand and like what you're recording, what you're putting out there, you want, as soon as somebody's eyes hit it or hear your content on their feed, you want their mind to go towards you. You want to develop that recognition of, I know them. It's almost like having a scent inside of your practice, where then if somebody smells that scent, they think of your practice and they're like, wait, I need to book my Botox appointment or whatever it may be. I feel like having that same vibe on your Instagram, it should be, you should think of it, and you know, we're in the aesthetics industry. You should think of it as an aesthetic in itself. Don't go back and forth between like low exposure and then like super high exposure.
And I think
everything in between.
Yeah, and I really like what you said a second ago too, because I always say you need to detach. So like, you are not your business, though. Like, you really like this sound and you really like this smell and you really, maybe like, you are different from your business. And that's why I encourage entrepreneurs or people that are multi-passionate to have personal brands so that they can separate where they put those things. I personally am like that. Like, Gia will get on to me all the time because I always ask her for advice. We bounce stuff off each other all the time. And I'm like, I really want to post this. And she's like, but that's not your niche. And I'm like, oh, it's so annoying. So, but I listen to her because it really makes a difference. Like, I will lose followers if I post things in the wrong category. So I think being really self-aware, like you said, and making sure that it's in alignment.
I have an example. So we were
scared.
literally on the plane on the way here, using our lipid recovery masks from
We were.
Guys, I gave them to them a year and a half ago. They've had these lipid recovery
still
masks
have a
since
couple
the
of them
last
left.
summer.
We had to save them for when we were with you,
Yes.
of course.
You have been with me multiple times since then.
I've got a lot of
But,
skincare
hey,
products.
We have
okay?
a lot. We spaced them out. Anyways, we're on the plane, being the most insufferable that you can be, doing the whole face mask on the plane.
Filming content on the airplane.
As long as you got the content, it's worth it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and we did.
we're both filming our little vlogs of our face masks, and our vision is like very aesthetic and like calming and just like the whole like tapping your cheek and everything. But then we're looking back at the footage, and Lauren Taylor's has a lot of like chaotic moments in hers, and we're both
Me
sitting
chaotic?
There, story of
Never.
your life.
like her phone falling over, or like using the wrong part of the
Slaps
face
me in the
mask, like
face.
literally just anything. And we're looking at it and we're like, that is your brand. Like, you cannot post an aesthetic video as good as it's going to look. Like, I mean,
I was like, look how pretty, like the lighting's so good. And she's like, no, but you need to do this part where you're like sticking your tongue out at the camera, because that's what my personal brand is.
yeah, it's like it's silly, it's chaotic, it's funny. Like, and her TikTok followers will resonate with that, whereas they might not resonate with like an aesthetic face mask.
It's like a sweet
calming.
Olivia Dean song, like doing a gua sha. They're gonna be like, who are
Girl,
you?
what?
Yeah, like I don't know her.
Yeah.
So it's all about being self-aware and really knowing like what resonates with your audience, and detaching, knowing what will perform.
Why do they love you?
Yes.
That's basically what we are getting at, is figure out why your audience loves you and then really leaning into that. And it's to your point, like that's the endearing part of LT is like you are chaotic, but yet somehow so polished and put together, where like you're like the it girl with a little bit of chaos on the side. And that is your brand. Like that is, you know.
It is. I have a whole day in the life series on my TikTok that's day in the life of a chaotic entrepreneur, because we're just unconventional. Like, we get it done and we do it well, but we work remote and we have, you know, very different strategies and ideas. And like, that's our whole brand. So we embrace it.
You guys know this song that's like, I'm dancing like a ballerina. And
Oh,
then it's like,
yeah.
da-da-da-da.
Yes.
That
Do
is
I?
literally, you were the ballerina.
Yes.
Isabella is the ballerina 100%. Like, just like very demure. Very like you're going through like your Pilates, and you have like your matcha in the morning and your iced coffee, and like everything is like perfectly placed and you're very organized. I'm sure your iPad probably has folders on it. And then
It's color coded.
It does.
yes. And then I'm sure LT, you've got like the layers of things where you have to like
My notes
search
app goes
through.
crazy.
I'm sure. Yes. And it's just like, woo, this is what we're doing. We're jumping on an airplane. You are that sound. I don't know.
She
if
is
you've
the
used
type
that.
A to my type B for sure. And I do know that sound. I've probably made videos to it.
Yes, we call it herding cattle.
Oh, do we?
And now LT knows what we call it.
GIFs
It's
back
all
and
about
forth.
self-awareness.
Yes. We've sent GIFs back and forth where it's like, it's the cattle and then like, we're like hurting it. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
hurting our ideas.
Oh my gosh, I have the perfect TikTok that you guys have to record then. We're going to record it this week.
Okay, perfect.
This is, yeah.
We'll do it the week that the podcast drops, this episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
We're recording it right after this.
Go like it on Instagram when you see this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've been talking about a little bit between using trends, how to use it on like your brand page. Lauren Taylor, I love what you mentioned about like you have to kind of separate yourself from your business. You and what you're interested in is not necessarily your business. You both have helped with not only the bright side of beauty, but also Beyond Skin Aesthetics. Last year at Aesthetic Next, I was already working with you on my personal brand. You were helping me with launching this lovely podcast here that we're speaking on. But I was speaking at Aesthetic Next for the first time, and you did an Instagram takeover for Skin by Delaney Danielle, my personal brand page. And then this year, when Katie and I went, you did a page take. I cannot talk. Oh my gosh, guys.
Say a full social media takeover.
A full social media takeover of Beyond Skin Aesthetics for us. How did you help with blending that? Because of course we wanted to make sure that the content that was on Beyond Skin was also able to be used on Skin by Delaney Danielle, but they're also two separate things. However, I'm a major part of the Beyond Skin brand. So use us as an example. How did you create that strategy where Beyond Skin was Beyond Skin? And also, what's the takeover process like for like a full social takeover? Do you want to start with like using us as an example and then give us like, if you are creating content for a brand, you can kind of like take it from there?
Yes, we might have to. I'm trying to think where to begin.
Yeah.
Or flip-flopped, if it's easier to go the opposite way of like,
Let's
if you're
just start
recording
with
for people.
AN since we're already talking about, or like what we did for BSA and separating with Skin by Delaney. And
Yeah.
So I think it kind of plays into what we've been talking about, like throughout all of our conversations, the difference between a business and a personal brand. Ultimately, the bottom line is a personal brand is a person and a business brand is a team. So I think when we took over BSA for the weekend, we really wanted to highlight the whole team. So like you and Katie doing your thing, instead of doing, here's a day in my life, here's a day in our life, here's what we're up to, this is what we did. And we had like individual moments of both of y'all because we wanted to highlight you as a team and as a duo because you kind of took it over together. It was awesome.
It really was. It was a little bit of both. And I feel like no, I really don't want to like stay on the trend category here, but we did a little like Elphaba and Glinda moment because, okay, if you know Katie and I, we are totally, I feel like that in itself. I mean, one, I'm pink and she's green. So that's like the obvious. And we were wearing pink and green boots. But I feel like even like our personalities are so opposite, but yet like we are kind of like this dynamic duo situation. It's funny how many dynamic duos there are in the aesthetics industry.
absolutely.
But we definitely are for BSA. So we leaned into that. So even though that wasn't necessarily like a trend happening in that moment, it still had a little bit of like recognition that we could play into. So I liked that we did that during our plan.
I think that was just a great way to show the team personality is showing like the banter between you and Katie and like that particular trend, even though it wasn't necessarily current, it was still in alignment with your strategy, what you guys are, what BSA is, who is behind it, and like allowing you to both put your hands in together. I think it was just a really good way to show that. I think those kinds of things on business pages are great.
Do really well.
It's just, it's not about you. It's about the both of you, you know, it's about all of you.
I love that. Okay, so for people that are curious of what a social media takeover looks like for Aesthetic Next, can you give a little bit about that? Because you do it every year. So go ahead. I mean, you've done it for us twice. Guys, if I have to share you, do not hog their time. Okay? Like, I will come and hunt you down at Aesthetic Next. However, tell us about social media takeovers at Aesthetic Next.
So basically, we handle all of your social media for the whole weekend. I know Aesthetic Next as a conference, we call it the Super Bowl for aesthetics. Tiffany Hall kills it every year. It's absolutely insane. It's massive. You're like running around crazy. You're speaking multiple times. Maybe you're doing trainings. Maybe you have your whole team there. Maybe it's just you. And everyone wants content. Everyone is posting content. Everyone's posting from their lectures. Everyone is bringing their social media people or doing whatever. It's just like such a huge event. And I think it's a really good way to get a quick spike in engagement on your social media just because the entire industry comes all into one place. It's just like speed rounded. Like your analytics for that week were insane just because we were being so active in a time where it was really industry relevant. So we come in and take over all of your social media live in real time so that you don't have to worry about it. You already have so much going on as a provider, as a speaker, or even if you're just attending. We've done that as well, like following people around with a camera, getting some B-roll, getting some photos, filming everyone's sessions, or just them, furthering education and mingling, getting all that. We do all of it for you.
There's a lot that goes on. So I did a Aesthetic Next recap. So we landed on Monday and I recorded on Tuesday. Like it was fresh. I had no voice from the weekend. Like it was fresh. But I went through I mentioned the takeover that we did, but I also went through what my schedule was like. So if you listening at home are interested in just the absolute chaos in the best way of what Aesthetic Next is, for example, the Saturday of Aesthetic Next, I had the morning free, but then I was literally talking and on a stage for 6 hours. If I wanted to post all of those sessions, or I just wanted to stay engaged with what was going on or what was posted the day before during that, it would be physically impossible to make sure that I had all the content recorded. One, I wouldn't be able to do that all myself. Edit the content or be able to splice and decide what I was actually uploading. Because like, even if you get 20 minutes of content, you're not going to use all 20 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. You got to have the right amount of time, what is relevant, and actually getting it posted the right way, making sure that it's across the correct platforms and everything. So it took all of that worry off of my back, where I could just focus on making sure that I was educating in the moment and present in the moment with the people that I was either on stage with or going from place to place. We did a wardrobe change because, of course, what Katie and I were wearing was not what was going to complement the next session that I was in. So we had like 20 minutes and Isabella was in recording me with Katie. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to get a video, or I'm going to record you running into the bathroom. And I ran into the bathroom sweating, changed my outfit. And then she recorded me coming back out. And then I went straight to my next session. And it was the perfect little moment of okay, this is what life is really like. But I wouldn't be able to do that either. In 20 minutes. It
captures absolutely everything. I feel like a lot of people in aesthetics, especially speakers, always want to do recaps, just session recaps. They just want someone to film that they spoke on stage and they want to post it. But we get really strategic. We do a whole pre-meeting like we did with you, and we figure out an Aesthetic Next strategy, just like we would for if we were doing a month of content for you. It's kind of the same thing. So not only we're doing recaps of your sessions, but we're also coming up with strategic, trends or pieces of content that are in alignment in the in-between, and we schedule all those out in correlation to when your sessions are, the certain events are, and make sure it's all pre-planned so we really don't miss a beat.
I think a really good thing to note as well is, so the conference is chaos. Honestly, any aesthetics conference is just so busy, especially if you are speaking on stage. You don't have time for anything. The thing about our takeover is that we're next to you running that sprint, and we just happen to be filming you while you're sprinting, so you don't have time for anything. We're there running alongside you, getting those 20 seconds of content in between your sessions for outfit changes or just all the in-between stuff. And like you were saying, we have the pre-meeting, so we go into the conference knowing exactly what we're going to film, when we're going to film it, what we're going to post, if it's going to be a recap, if it's going to be a soundbite, if it's going to be a TikTok, all the above. That is all. We plan as much as we can. Yeah. But obviously, our whole thing is we're flexible and
we are adaptable for sure, but it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't pre-planned. Yeah. That clip you just talked about, running in and out of the bathroom, doing the costume change before your next session. We knew that was going to happen. We knew the time that was going to happen. We knew that you were doing a costume change, and we knew exactly what we were going to film. That wasn't just oh, we got this and then figured out what to post later. It's all structured.
Yes. And to both of your points, it was strategy of this is what we want to showcase from the conference. If that did not match the type of content that I wanted to put out, we wouldn't have recorded it. Mm-hmm. You would have focused on getting those sound bites from the actual sessions. And then maybe that was it, because your goal going in, your strategy going in is to solely get the education. You guys will create that plan with somebody, and then you will execute, making sure that you get those specific sound bites. I know from the talk with Katie, there was one specific line that Katie really wanted to make sure hit home. And so out of the entire session, that was the soundbite that she wanted, and Isabella was able to grab it because we knew that. So that was an example of, that wasn't an outfit. That was something that she was like, I want this to be able to share with our patients, to be able to share on social media, have on YouTube, whatever it may be, use later. And you were able to capture that for us. So it really is, it's down to the strategy and then executing what that plan is. How do you, for somebody that's trying to like think through what their strategy is, what is your advice for them? Like what should be the strategy for strategizing?
Sorry, I thought you were going to go.
I would say first, look internally. Look at what you provide. Look at what value you can offer as an injector, as an esthetician, as an influencer, no matter what you're trying to do here. And I would say, look at what you can provide and look at how you can show what you provide, and then find inspiration for the style of content externally, looking at other practices, other creators that you like, starting there.
Yeah, and kind of in alignment with that, I think being self-aware, like we said, but knowing what your goals are. So our strategy for you, like obviously you have a thriving business and you have a podcast and you're becoming a key opinion leader in certain spaces and you're speaking and all these things are kind of happening for you right now. Well, someone that's maybe a baby injector that's just starting out obviously has different goals. So the strategy would just be completely different. So figuring out, asking yourself, what do I want out of this? Do I want to get more patients? Do I want to make a name for myself in my industry because my goal down the line is to become a KOL or to become a speaker like they do Path to Podium? Like, is that something you want to participate in? Like thinking about all of that and just really knowing where you want to be in the next year or in the next few years, and then letting us know that so that we can help you figure out what we need to do within your marketing to start positioning you in that way, so that when we're building visibility and a following for you, it's not random just of you, you know, as an esthetician or as an injector. It's specific to what avenue you want to go in with that.
I think that that's really important to think about just in a professional sense. I think that there are two types of minds. There are minds that think, okay, this is going to lead to the next thing. So how does that segue? And then what's after that? So they're kind of following this pathway. Whereas some people would look at it, I'll use Aesthetic Next as an example. They look at it as, I have this talk at Aesthetic Next, and as soon as it's over, it's over. But that talk isn't necessarily leading to the next thing. Or maybe it's, you know, I'm going to go to this filler course and I'm going to go to this training, and they're not thinking like, okay, that training is actually going to lead me here, and then I want to do this. They're not thinking about like the whole career path. And that's really kind of what you're saying is think what's the big picture, and then we can really pull it in from there versus starting small and going out. Think what's almost like what's the end goal, or even like what's
what
the
do you
potential
do?
End goal.
Yeah.
And we can see, like, we can start that path. And then if that path pivots, you have to be flexible with that. But at least you kind of know the trajectory of your aim. Like if you want to grow as a injector in your area, then you're going to be focused more on like your local reach, versus if you know that you want to be a national speaker, you're going to be focusing more on industry respect. And you know,
I still think industry respect is important, even if your goal is to just get more patients in your local area. I think because social media exists and there are so many voices, people are paying a lot more attention to the providers that they're seeing. So if you are going to spend the money and the time to go to a conference and to take a filler course and learn, I think you need that filmed, and you need to be sharing with your audience and your potential new patients that like that is a priority to you and you really care and you're investing in furthering your education and you take that very seriously for the health and safety of your patients, you know? So I think showing it in that way, not necessarily because you want to start a training course one day, maybe you, and some people do, but it's all in knowing why you're getting those pieces of content so you can figure out which ones you need to get and which ones you can maybe skip out on.
I totally agree. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yes. So I think also I agree with everything that you're saying. And it kind of makes me think. So I heard this quote on TikTok, of course, the other day. It's like, everybody wants 1,000 lives, but you only get one. So you have to be really specific in what you want your goal to be, and you work towards that goal. That does not mean that your goal can't change, because I think that goals and dreams can change. But I think that there should be something specific that you are working towards, specifically in your business and in your content, and especially what you're posting online. Like there needs to be a goal. And even if that goal is to just gain more followers, okay, that's a goal, work towards it. But in this industry, and honestly in businesses in general, the goal is to make sales and to make money, because this is a business, this is a job. So that needs to be what you're working towards. And there can be all these amazing ideas and everything, but like you need to pick something and you need to run towards it.
I love that. Okay, so talking about having that goal, running towards that goal, content in general, batching things, recording, You have a Segway. It's a sister company of the limited agency called Eldest Daughter. Can you tell us a little bit about Eldest Daughter? Either one of you.
We would love to.
Yes. Oh, my favorite topic. I'm just kidding.
One, you named Eldest Daughter far before Taylor Swift announced her album.
And we did.
Yeah, she
With a
actually
title.
wrote it for
Yeah.
us. I'm just kidding.
I was convinced until I heard the song, and then I was like, actually, I feel like that's a little bit heavier, but also very fun. Like, I'm in on the trends with Eldest Daughters, like sound bites.
Well,
but-
Isabella and I are both the eldest daughters in
our
our
families.
families.
which is where it came from, right?
And
That's where the name
eldest
came from?
daughter, yes, that's where the name came from. And we thought that it would be a cool idea for eldest daughter to be the limited agency's cooler older sister.
I love. And what does the eldest daughter do?
Okay, so as you know, limited agency is very medical. It's very aesthetics industry. We've kind of niched down into that. But separately, we both love fashion and honestly creating content.
Just content creation in general, videography, photography, studio photo shoots, branding.
Just being creative.
Yes.
So we wanted a way to still be able to tap into that part of our passion and our part of our career. So we kind of separated the two. If you want to dive into a little bit about how we did that.
Yeah. So it's eldest daughter is essentially an external branch of our business that we don't do social media management for it. It's purely creative direction, content production. So we'll do marketing directories for studio photo shoots. We've worked with everything from like swimwear brands to tennis companies to doing personal branding photos for injectors, maybe not social media management and just content creation in general. It's basically that part of it and really diving into creating that content and taking the time to get really quality, creative stuff. Like, when you see those photo shoots, this is a big trend I keep seeing where injectors have like a martini glass filled with empty Botox bottles and they're in like sunglasses and gloves and like doing a styled shoot like that. That's essentially what we're doing, whether it's for aesthetics or for other companies, is kind of coming up with those creative ideas and producing content in that way.
So to give the audience a little bit of insight with that, for example, I had you on retainer last year for the Bright Side of Beauty. We have brought marketing in-house for Beyond Skin Aesthetics, as well as I do my own social media now. And so you guys are actually coming and doing exactly that with BSA this week while you're in town. This all started with we're going to a concert and has spun into, well, of course, we have all of these work things that we want to do. So how do we pack the most into a 48-hour period? And this is what we're doing. So we're having a shoot like that. You helped me come up with the concepts for it. We thought of, okay, how long is this content going to be used for? What do you want to accomplish during that time frame? What is the aesthetic that you're going for? And then you're helping me with executing it. So then I, as our basically marketing management that's in-house, can take all of that content ready to go, push it out, and use that in so many different ways. So we're going to be using this content in ways like meta ads. We're going to be using it on our website. We're going to be using it, of course, on our social media, organically posting on our stories, whatever it may be. On Patreon, we're going to have like some training opportunities where we can actually talk through some of these treatments and things. But you helped me come up with what's that shot list, what's the creative, what's the vibes for everything. And then you're helping with executing that vision so that I have all of that. And it's not something that I have to worry about every single day trying to get something, as much as it's like, okay, we have this plan. Now let's get content that we can use over the next month or two, or, however long. Do you want to add to that?
No, I completely, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. The punchline is that we help bring your vision to life. And specifically with the content production and the creative direction, like if you have an idea, it is our job to figure out the logistics, the shot list, and be there in
timeline.
studio, the timeline, literally everything. To be there at your clinic, in the studio. We've done photo shoots on the side of the road, the mountain. Those are more like e-commerce stuff. But
Literally in the snow.
yes, we are there.
Bathing suits.
No, literally.
Yes.
Yes.
Wild girls.
Work
So
from slope.
Work from ski.
Slope.
Yes. But we basically just bring your vision to life. And no matter what that looks like, that's that's our thing.
Yeah. And the best part about it is you get all the deliverables. So you, like, if you were taking all your marketing in house, obviously you want to still have a creative hand in your business. You still get to do that. We're just kind of being your assistants in the way that we are helping you check it off. And then we're giving it all to you to do with it whatever you want.
I love that so much because it takes, sometimes I feel like I will have an idea and I don't know exactly what my idea is, even though I have it. And I almost have to like speak it. And then the two of you can kind of like pull it out and be like, okay, is this what you mean? And I'm like, yes, thank you for understanding me. Thank you for getting me. And that is basically what this is. So we can have all the ideas in the world and you guys can help with pulling that out and executing it and make it even better. I feel like sometimes I'll have an idea and you guys will take it and you'll spin it and it's 10 times better than I could have even imagined it being. And that's the best part. That's why a company would utilize the eldest daughter or the limited agency is to just amplify the, basically the talent that you have in-house, make it even better. Sometimes you just need a helping hand, and that's what you guys are.
Bringing your vision to life. Yeah, a helping hand. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Content batching will absolutely save your life too. Like also, I think about in-house marketing just in general. It's way more than social media. You're doing SEO, you're doing so many things. So if you're trying to figure out what to post on a daily basis on top of doing everything else that you're doing, monitoring all of your leads, doing your ads, doing your website, everything else that's going on, it's so much. And your social media will usually end up taking a back burner because you're like, oh, I'll just post tomorrow. Or it'll be super late at night and you're freaking out, don't know what to post. This is a way where you don't have to worry about filming. It's all already filmed. So you can time block like an hour of your time to go, okay, I'm going to sit and like edit the videos for this week because you just have it all already done. It's not like I have to schedule filming. I have to get models again because I need more stuff. It's like we do a bunch and we just give it all to you. And with that, we also offer deliverables. Like you can pay for if you want a specific video edited or like you need help, we can do that for you. But usually we just give you the big organized folder, the golden folder.
Does Isabella organize that?
Well, of course. She's
of course.
she's like, I am the brains of the folder. The type A to my type B.
She's like, yes, I will make sure that everything is to you in an organized fashion.
Yes.
We
would
know
have it
where
any
our
other
strengths
way.
are. Yes.
Yin and yang, if you will.
This is why we work so well together. Like we're so opposite, but we have really similar creative brains. We always say we share a brain cell.
Yes.
I think that this is why there are so many dynamic duos inside of the aesthetics industry. I'm sure it's probably other industries as well, but I just notice it so prevalent inside the aesthetics industry is we are so much better when we have that like yin and yang.
Better
situation.
together.
Yes, exactly. And it's a dynamic duo.
Yeah,
You get
for
all
sure.
the dynamics with it. I feel like we could go on for ages talking about so many different things. So I'm going to wrap us up and hold us here, but you know that you are going to be back. We're going to have to dive deeper into so many other things. Before we go though, Lauren Taylor, you are up. I have a question that I love to ask all of my guests. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I feel like something that I personally have been working on as an entrepreneur and just in my personal life is healing the part of myself that feels like I have to be performative in entrepreneurship. I feel like that's something that when I started was never an issue, and I just loved being creative and running my business how I wanted to run it. And the more that my business has grown, the more I've been like feeling that I have to show up a certain way or I'm going to be perceived as unprofessional. And I, for a while, was honestly really insecure about the fact that we work remotely. And I was like, I look unprofessional because I don't have an office. And then I had this realization recently after like really digging deep and working on this that I never wanted an office. Like the reason I started my business is because I want to give myself that space and I want to give creatives that space to create. And I think the best way to do that is finding balance and allowing that balance to spark your creativity. And like that's the best way that I can possibly show up in my business is when I'm feeling creative and free. And those are where my best ideas come from all the time. So I think healing kind of that performative part of myself and just letting go and being my most authentic self, whether that's on social media or just like in life. And just like we're wearing workout clothes to speak on a podcast. Me a year ago, I would have never, ever done this. I would have been like, I need to wear a blazer in my branding color or I'm going to freak out. So I think just detaching and just letting go and just like running my business and allowing that to ebb and flow has been really healing for me. And I think that that's beautiful.
That is so beautiful. That is freeing as well. And I think the really cool thing about everything that you just said is it gives you the freedom to actually show up better in a professional sense. Mm-hmm. So you were so focused on being performative as an entrepreneur of like what you were supposed to be doing and how people were going to perceive you based on what you were supposed to be doing, not having an office space, all these things. But by not having an office space, that allows you to do things like get on a plane and come to Ohio for a branding shoot and have your creative juices constantly flowing to where you're able to pour that into your work and execute way stronger than you'd be able to if you were in a stuffy office. And let's be real, if you were paying for an office, you'd feel like you need to sit in that office and you wouldn't say yes to as many things.
I would never leave. I would feel like I have to be there all the time.
And
Which
this is
would
freedom.
be productive, but at the end of the day, we are creatives. And that's why I keep saying, like, let the creatives create, because I think creative people have to be reignited through traveling or music or working outside. I love to work outside. I'm the most productive if I'm like sitting on my balcony working. Like it's genuinely helpful for my type B brain. So
I love that. That is the title of the episode. Let the creatives create.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Girls, I love you both so much. Thank you for coming to Ohio to spend some time. Are you trying to
heart.
Gen Z heart right
She
now?
taught
I don't know
me
how
it.
to do it.
What?
What?
I
What are
thought
you
it was
doing?
this,
This is the
but now
newest
it's
one.
this.
So for everyone watching online, so the heart first started like this, and then Gen Z took it, and it's this newest one, this.
Wait,
So
I don't. What's the old one? The middle one?
Me and you probably know this one. Like
That's the one that I know.
heart.
So then Gen Z took it, and it's now
Isabella has
this.
trained
Middle
me to
finger
do
down.
this. Like, see, it's a heart this way.
How do you even bend your fingers like that?
You don't. You have to
like that.
train it.
Yeah.
It's really hard. But once I mastered this, she told me there's a new one, and it's this.
because this is a mini one.
Like, that's the bottom of the heart, right?
Yeah, this
Or
is like
that's
the
the
little
heart.
the
I
little
don't
two
know.
edges. You learn something new every day.
And you know what? We love you all. Good night.
And we're keeping you young and up with the social media trends. Thank you.
I think we'll see you next week on the Bright Side of Beauty podcast.